A common way of work nowadays is the remote work, where you have to manage your virtual and hybrid teams. So, managing virtual and hybrid teams involves a unique challenges compared to the traditional teams. And these challenges include the time zone differences, communication barriers, and maintaining the engagement. So as you know that sometimes when you don't see your project team and everyone is working in silos, so you may risk the having the transparency on the project progress. So the project manager overseeing a global software development team must implement the strategies to ensure the seamless collaboration and alignment despite of the geographical dispersion. So in this session, we'll focus on the virtual and hybrid teams and how to manage them. As you know that they are increasingly common in the modern project, we'll look into the effective management to ensure the productivity and cohesion. We'll focus on the collaboration, communication, and engagement. Now let's discuss the strategies on handling, let's say, the team or managing the team in remote collaboration. So remote collaboration relies on effective use of technology and structured workflows. For example, a project managers in a marketing campaign can use, for example, one of these tools called Trello or let's say Jira to track the task assignment and progress, ensuring the team members in different locations are aligned and productive. These tools also include like the Microsoft Teams or Zoom or Slack or Jira or whatever collaboration tool that it enhances the transparency and visibility of the work that your team is doing. So ensure if you are handling, let's say, a remote team or a remote project, ensure that you have or establish a clear workflows and responsibilities between your team. Also, you need to schedule a regular virtual check-ins to maintain the alignment. For example, when you are handling an agile project, you have this daily stand-up meeting where every team member has to show their achievements, their let's say there are three questions that each of these team members has to answer, including what you have done yesterday, what you are planning to do today, and in case of that you have any challenges or misconception that you need support with to be resolved in order to continue doing the work. So it's very important to have this regular virtual check-ins to maintain the alignment with the project, let's say, plan, objectives, and timelines. Now let's see how we can overcome the communication barriers. So communication barriers in virtual teams can stem from cultural differences or technology issues or unclear protocols. A project managers leading a cross-functional team should ensure language clarity and provide the tools uh, or the way of how your team can communicate and document when needed. Encouraging the feedback helps to bridge the gaps and build the understanding. You may also start with setting an expectation from the communication protocols. Also, set multiple channels for different needs. For example, if something is formal has to happen, and then you may request your team to send a formal email. You may have a different way of communication, like chatting or meeting for quick discussions and decision making. But formally, when it comes to decision making, we also use the formal methods because it shows the accountability of taking that decision. You need to encourage the active listening and culture sensitivity within your team. So these are the key common, let's say, communication solution to overcome these barriers or challenges. You also need to understand the key preferred tool by your team and the best, for example, in case if you have a team in the US, then you need, to understand that the communication need need to adapt based on the communication models that is being used mainly in the US. So it depends on the geographical location, timeline, and the other standards that every, let's say, country or region follows. So ensure to adapt your framework or communication based on these different geographical differences. Ensuring the engagement in the distributed teams. So, engagement in distributed teams is crucial to maintain the moral and performance. And when it comes to foster a sense of belonging through virtual team building activities, you may, foster this, a sense of uh, belonging. It can happen through the team building activities. Also, you may need to recognize the contribution and achievements regularly to keep your team motivated and also to keep your team engaged. You may also use the surveys and feedback mechanism to assess the team morals. And for example, here, let's say organizing a virtual coffee chat or recognizing team milestones in a weekly meeting fosters the motivation between your team. And the project manager can also use tools like anonymous surveys to go and to address any team concern or challenges that they may have a fear of talking in front of their project manager. When it comes to building the trust in the virtual teams, so how you can build a trust when your team isn't around you? Trust is the foundation of any successful team, especially in the virtual environment. So you need to encourage the transparency and open communication. Also, deliver commitments to build the credibility, provides opportunities for informal interactions. So, with all of these activities, you may increase the trust between your team. You may also foster the collaborative decision making workshops. And by that, your team will feel, let's say, empowered by taking a decision, and the trust will increase between your team. So, as we say the transparency by encouraging the open communication, the credibility by delivering the commitments and informal interactions, which provide an opportunity for casual engagement. Now, let's see how we can leverage the technology to have an effective communication. Technology is the backbone of virtual teams management nowadays. A manager leading a remote IT project must ensure that all of the team members are proficient with tools like Jira or Asana for task tracking. Also, regular training sessions and update on tool usage enhances the efficiency and it reduce the technical issues. So ensure to invest reliable communication and the effective use of collaboration tools. In case if one of your team members has no idea on how to use a certain tool, ensure to train them and ensures the data security and accessibility based on the project nature and the communication requirements. A big challenge here when it comes addressing when it comes to the time zone. So time zones differences can disrupt the virtual team's coordination. For example, in a global finance project, scheduling critical meetings during the overlapping hours ensures the participation of all regions. And sharing a detailed minutes of meeting allows team members in non-overlapping zones to stay informed about the discussion and the key decision were taken on the meeting. So ensure again to use an overlapping working hours for key meetings to ensure the availability of the key team members that you need to be them in the meeting to attend the meeting and also rotate the meeting times to accommodate all regions fairly. As I said in the beginning of this session, ensure that you understand the time zone on the region that your team mostly work on. So based on that, you adapt your timing and you adapt your, let's say, communication to let's say to match the team requirements or and the stakeholder requirements. In case if your team members haven't or a key team members haven't attended the meeting, by having let's say a detailed minutes of meeting, it shares the outcomes of the meeting, so you keep them informed about all of the decision, all of the issues, and with that, you may address this time zone challenges. When it comes to monitor the team performance in virtual settings, so monitoring the performance in virtual setting, the virtual team settings, it requires a transparency in goals and metrics. For instance, a project manager in an e-commerce launch can use dashboards like Tableau to visualize the progress, or Jira to show the let's say the progress on how many user stories were completed, how many features were completed. Also ensure having a regular feedback that ensures that the team members stays aligned with the project objectives. Again, to monitor the team performance, we say to set a clear performance metrics and deliverables, so each of the team members knows what to expect as the final deliverables. You need also to ensure that they are aligned with the project goals and objectives. You may use dashboards to track the progress and issues in real time and provide constructive feedback during one-to-one check-ins if needed. Adapting the leadership style for virtual teams. So, leading a virtual team requires the flexibility and a focus on the outcomes. A project manager in hybrid sales project, for example, may adopt a supportive leadership style to address the remote employees and challenges, while, let's say, delegating authority to regional leads to ensure the accountability. So, to ensure adapting a leadership styles when dealing with virtual teams or virtual environments, you need to be, as a project manager, you need to be flexible and empathetic and leadership. Since the team isn't sitting in front of you, uh, and you have, let's say, less information about, let's say, the team, you are not interacting with them directly. So you need to be understanding each of these leadership style, how it works, different, virtual teams, on-site teams. I also encourage empowering the team members by delegating the authority based on the let's say the skills that matches their let's say these decisions uh, that matches their skills and responsibilities. You also need to focus on the results rather than just micromanagement, because micromanagement doesn't work when it comes to virtual teams. As we have seen in the past years, we have seen many tools that can manipulate the team productivity, where the managers use this micromanagement way of managing the team. So it's very important to focus on the result rather than just micromanaging the people when it comes on virtual teams. And to summarize our session, we say that managing the virtual and hybrid teams requires a blend of technology, ways of communication, and different leadership skills. Strategies such as leveraging the tools like Slack, or Jira, Microsoft Teams, all of these tools, it fosters the engagement through the use of the technology. Also ensures that you have enough recognition and addressing the challenges like the time zone that ensures the project success. We also talked about the communication barrier, which can be overcome by protocols, cultural sensitivity. We say that you have to motivate the team, to keep them engaged, to give them the trust, and adapt your leadership style based on the team dynamics to ensure the project success.